Welcome to the Xtreme BBM. My name is Mark Xtreme, and on the show today we are talking to a German singer and producer. Okay, she produces her music and writes her music. Her name is Leona Berlin, and we had a single that we premiered on one of the e-jazz mixes, and also on the Xtreme hit, and that was the song with Snoop Dogg that we played. That's what we premiered the other week, and we also played it this week actually, and that is Wrong Lane. So she's on the show right now. So welcome to the show, Leona.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, good to talk to you today. How is are you in Berlin right now?
I'm in Berlin, yeah.
Yeah, how is Berlin?
Yeah. It's great. It's getting really cold right now.
Yeah.
It feels like winter's coming really close, like too close. It's like close to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's a cloudy day. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the situation in Berlin right now.
yeah, I see you dressed up for winter, so that the dress code already says it.
Yeah.
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 Uh, so welcome to the show. It's the first time on the show, and we got introduced to you by a song with the legend Snoop Dogg. But let's get a little bit first about yourself, how you got started. You sing and produce your own music. I want to know, how did music get started for you? Do you come from like a musical family? Did you go to school for music? What is your story?
My story is I grew up in a musical family, so nobody does this for a profession, but we did a lot of music inside the family,
Okay.
at events and birthday parties and blah blah blah. So yeah, and I also was at a school. I went to a school where music was really important. So we sang a lot together, did a lot of music, and I was introduced to music. Yeah, I don't know, through different people. And they introduced me to many different artists like Aretha Franklin, James Brown. That were my first influences, and I was like, music was always my my hideaway, kind of. When I wanted to be on my own, like have my own space, I would like turn the music on, just be in the room alone and listen to the music and sing along. Yeah, and then I was more like into I I I draw. What's the word? I
Improve.
did drawings and stuff.
Oh.
Like I worked with the hands, art stuff
Oh yeah.
first. But and I was thinking I'm gonna do that later as a profession.
Oh.
But then like a switch turned around. I found out like music is my 100%. I have to do music. That's what I have to do,
Yeah.
kind of. So yeah, I talked to a lot of people and so on, and I ended up studying music, jazz and popular vocals actually, and yeah, since that I got introduced to even more musicians and more music that I hadn't known before, and I listened to a lot of Erykah Badu and D'Angelo, Jay Dilla, and all that good old hip hop stuff.
Hold on. You said someone that I haven't had people talk about on the show. Okay, yeah, only one person has talked about him. Talked about Jay Dilla. For the people listening in, some of them that don't understand, because he later was taken away from us.
Yeah.
What can you tell them about how influential and how much of a great producer he was, not only to hip hop, even with stuff he did with Erykah Badu and all that?
Jay Dilla, I mean, he's a legend. He will always be a legend,
Yeah.
actually, because I don't know how to explain this. I'm really fascinated by him because he had such a good ear. He knew exactly when to put which sound on the beat, and like what the song needed at a specific moment in the song.
Yeah.
And he just had an intuition on how the song should sound, actually. And that's so, like, this intuition was so deep and so yeah, I don't know, it's so fascinating that he stood out,
Even up to
like, and he will always stand out.
even now he's still, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, he's still standing out because he changed the hip hop, actually. I mean, he changed the whole music culture by his way of listening to music and producing music, because he had just another way of listening to music, and his style was really weird for people in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I've heard about people that couldn't really get what he was doing back then, and then later everybody realized, wow, this is really cool. But first he was, yeah, some people didn't understand him, and that's what I find really fascinating as well, because I always find people fascinating who do something
Mm.
that is like you know, weird or unknown in the beginning, and then people realize, wow, this is really something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's inspiring to me.
And that's a good thing to start with, especially like now talking to you, and especially when you produce and write your music, and you always
Hmm.
want to bring something to the people with all these influences. So how much important is this to you, that people understand what you're trying to give them, and how much passionate you are in the work you do to make sure that you deliver a product to them?
Wow, that's a really deep question, actually. These are actually two questions. I'll answer them like one after another. The first question to me was like, how important is it to me to get my message across?
Yes.
And this is, it's really important to me to, you know, the song is only finished to me when I think my message is, can be heard if people listen to it. But I always know that people listen really differently to music. Some people actually don't listen to the lyrics at all,
Yeah.
and some people like just listen to the lyrics and don't listen to the music very much.
Yeah.
And I think it's just I to me it's important to get my message across, but in the end, what everybody gets out of it, I can't control, and I don't actually care, because everybody like gets something out of it if he or she likes the music or the lyrics.
Yeah.
But the interpretation will always be really different.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Yeah, totally. And I want to leave that space for people to interpret and to get something out that they find like valuable. So yeah, I try to leave a little bit of interpretation room sometimes in the lyrics.
I think that's
So
good
I
because
can't,
it creates a discussion. Yeah.
yeah, 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 it allows people even more to have a subjective experience,
Yeah.
you know, if the lyrics are not that clear sometimes.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, how passionate am I in terms of the production, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm obsessed sometimes. I'm really passionate, you know. I'm almost perfectionistic. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes even in a bad way, because I would say in the past it was sometimes in a bad way, because it would take me really long to finish a song.
Yeah.
And now I've learned to cope with that a little bit more, a little bit better. And it's just like I know when this point is there where the song is finished, and it's like I could, like, you know, I could work on it forever and change little things forever,
Yeah.
but nowadays I know, okay, now the song's finished, and it should sound exactly as it sounds like right now.
And since you
But how long?
go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, bad reception.
No, no, you can go ahead.
Yeah, but how long that takes is really, it's really different how long that takes, because you know, it almost feels like the song is telling me what to do, and some songs take really long until they're finished, and some songs are really fast. So yeah.
And how quick were you at adapting to collaborating with others? Especially now that you are close to being a perfectionist and you want things to sound a certain way because you're involved in the production. You tell me
Hmm.
how quickly you adapted, to collaborating with people, even with such people like Ray Angry from The Roots, or Cassie Benjamin.
Hmm.
And you worked with someone from Robert Glasper's Experiment. Oh, that's another.
Yeah, two guys like Casey Benjamin and Burniss Earl Travis
That's
were
another
the two
person that
guys.
is different.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing?
Now, I was saying
You were
that
saying?
working with these two guys from the Robert Glasper's experiment. Robert Glasper is
Mhm.
another person that is different and is in his own lane over there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, it's another like world of musicians that's really inspiring to me. And it's actually the same world as the whole J Dilla world, and it's all one world in my experience, because the approach to doing music is equally deep. That's what they all have in common, in my opinion. Yeah, it was really interesting to work with Ray and Burniss and Casey Benjamin. Um, it was interesting to see how they approach like recording or producing. Um, I I would say I'm really open to collaborations, because at in the moment where I'm collaborating with someone, um, I want to know what he or she can bring into the vibe.
Yeah, as far as
What
the energy.
I want that different vibe, because that's what makes the collaboration interesting to me, and that's the whole point of collaborating, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so why do you think? How were you able to get all these people to work with you at the same time? You work with someone from the Roots, then Robert Glasper's experiment. What do you think brought them to working with you?
Yeah, interesting question. um, I don't know. Maybe it's just a similar taste in music. Maybe it's just like that we celebrate a similar style, or you have always these moments in music where
Yeah,
you're like, whoa, this is really cool. And then like on a concert, for example, you feel that everybody's feeling that in this moment right now.
yeah,
And I think if somebody feels the same moments as special moments, um, same moments as you feel, that's a really deep bond. I think musical taste is such an important thing, and it brings so many people together. So I think this is the reason why I was able to work with these guys, because we have a quite similar taste, probably. Like on a you know on a big picture.
so which is a good thing to have though, because you had put out one album, right?
Hmm.
And you
I
work.
put out one album in the end of 2018, and then from there I released a couple of singles until now.
And how has the journey been? Do you think, like, in terms of like when you had your album, and as far as 2020 goes, what do you feel
Hmm.
what do you feel has grown different with you and your process of how you make music?
You mean from first album until now?
Yeah, like from the music you made on the first album, which is
Hmm.
2018, and then it's now 2 years and you've worked on singles and worked with
Ah,
different
yeah, okay.
collaborators.
Hmm.
How do you how what do you think you are doing differently now, and what have you learned along that way?
That's a really good question, actually. Um, it's a little bit hard to answer. I would just say it's a lot of personal change, and it's that personal change that reflects in the music. I would say I know more who I am as an artist, whereas back in 2018 it was really hard for me to figure that out, and also to communicate that to the label I worked with back then, and to my manager I worked with back then, because they had a little bit something they had something a little bit different in mind of who I was as an artist than what I felt I was, and I had a hard time to articulate who I really am. And through that experience, I feel like I came a little closer to who I really am as a musician, and that makes it more easy to me for me to put that into a musical context. You know, so the music I do right now, I produce right now, feels, yeah, in a way more authentic, because I just know a little bit more who I am.
Yeah, and as far as when you're making the music, right, and you being authentic, and you
Mhm.
when you're writing the song or when you're approaching any project, how much do you think you let of you out there? Like when you're writing a song, let's say, how much of you becomes part of that song, as far as sharing an experience that you have and being authentic? How far can you go in terms of sharing an experience you've had in the song?
Mhm. Mhm. I would say I share a lot in my songs, but it's in a way that's not so obvious. So many people write about, love stories, or certain experiences they had, like really specific. And I'm more about, my thought is there are so many people who talk about their concrete experiences, that there's no need for anybody else to tell, yeah. That's the thought, that's the background for this. But I try to share my insights more than my actual stories. So I tried more to share what I learned from certain experiences, and I tried to put that into the songs.
Okay.
So to get a message in my song, you have to read between the lines, kind of,
Uh,
because I always try to put a deeper meaning into each song, because yeah, to me that's the point of writing lyrics, kind of. I want to share something um I realized.
yeah.
That's my thing. So in that sense, it's really personal, but also it's
It's
it's not,
left,
you don't know a lot about my life
you
per
leave it
se.
you leave it for interpretations being subjective on the person that listens to it.
Yes, I want everybody to be able to to hear what my realization was, but it's not necessary to tell the whole story behind it. I just want the realization to percolate down. I don't know if this is a word, but
We shall make it here. Yeah.
yeah, but do you know what I mean? Do you understand?
Yeah, it's
It's
more
a
of
little bit hard to articulate, but
it's
yeah.
it's more of sharing an experience, but then you don't have to overall make it about yourself. You let it resonate with people, so that even people that have gone through a certain experience can listen and own the song and feel like it's their experience, but it is your experience. You only left it for them to fill in the gaps in between and see where they fit in terms of how they interpret it, how they interpret what you're giving to them.
Yes, totally. For example, my last single, "Wrong Lane," it's about, I say, "Come with me into the wrong lane" and stuff like that. And I'm talking actually about like leaving the mainstream, actually, and like just go your own way. And everybody knows in his heart what his own way is, like what he wants to do from the heart. Um, but in this song, for example, I don't talk about a specific way. I don't talk about my way per se. It's just like I want to give the possibility of, like, hey, you can choose to leave the mainstream and just like do your own thing, find your own style of life.
You're,
That's what I'm trying to say there.
you're sparking the conversation. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and we talked about wrong lane. That's the song we are going to talk about. How first of all, great song. I like the song.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Even before we get to the legends part now, even the way you did the song and the video, I like the idea and the concept of the video. Yet actually,
Very
the,
cool.
the art side of you tells me about that when we get to the video and how it was. I don't know if you are involved in making of the video, but the video is very artistic.
Thanks so much. I mean, like the producers and the directors of the video, they will love to hear that. They put a lot of energy and time in there, and yeah, they're really grateful to hear that. I'll tell them.
Yeah. So, you talk to me about, how did how do you get Snoop Dogg onto your onto your single that is Wrong Lane that we are going to be, but we have premiered on the show before, but we're going to be playing again today, and you shall be talking about that. So talk to me about the decision to get Snoop Dogg on. Are you still with the label you talked about that you had worked with on the first album?
No, I'm not. Actually, it was just for the first album, and it was Warner. It was jazz department of Warner, because my music was a little bit more jazz influenced back then. And now it's a little bit more pop, hip hop influenced, kind of.
So
we decided to separate. So I'm independent at the moment.
So how does an independent artist get Snoop Dogg on the album, on the song? Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's really a great question. It's actually, I can tell you, it's all about
the dog.
It's really hard to tell, actually. I mean, I was just really lucky. I just had the right circumstances, actually. I started working with a manager like 1.5 years ago, and then turned out he was traveling around America a lot in the 90s. And then he was backstage all the time on Wu-Tang Clan shows. And he knows the guys from Wu-Tang Clan. Yes, definitely. and you know, that cosmos is always, is also very, very small in a way. So so there was also the A&R of Snoop Dogg hanging around there. So my manager knew the A&R of Snoop Dogg, and then last summer he told me, hey, you could get a feature with Snoop Dogg. What do you think about it? And I was like, yeah, man, why not? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it. Yeah. So that's how it happened, actually. And it was not you know, it was not an idea, and then we tried really hard to get him on the song, but it was like just happening from the circumstances. And then I was really happy about that, of course.
And he knocked that out very well, and you got the classic Snoop Dogg though. A lot of people don't get him these days though. Yeah.
Really nice.
You got the Snoop Dogg of sensual seduction, you know, that's the Snoop Dogg you got. And a lot of people don't get him like that these days. You know, these days he keeps on, you know, changing here and there, you know. But you got him on the good one.
Yeah, I also felt like the vibe really fits, like the vibe of his verse fits really well into the vibe of the overall song, and I'm really happy about that. So yeah.
Yeah. So as we get to, you know, to wrap up with the Wrong Lane, what are you building towards, or are you still trying to give us more of the singles, or what do you have in the works? Do you have like, is there a project you're building towards, or for the moment we can just chill out and just enjoy the singles?
No, actually, there's coming more, definitely. First of all, I have these hoodies. I don't know if you can see. I have these hoodies, and they're going into my shop in the next days, so people can buy these hoodies right now. It's Wrong Lane hoodies and t-shirts.
Give them the
and sorry?
Give them the plug. What is the website?
Yeah, the website is leonaberlin.com. And there's a shop, and like tomorrow, the shop will be like, there will be also the hoodies and the t-shirts in the shop. But right now it's not in there, but tomorrow it's the day that the hoodie sale will start. And then I also have another single coming up tomorrow. It's a remix of this song. It's Wrong Lane Chill Edit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. And 2 weeks from now, there's another remix with a really cool keyboard player from LA featured on it. He plays a solo in the end. I don't know if you've heard of Rob Araujo. Rob Araujo. I don't know. He's a guy from LA, and he's featured on that next single that's coming out. That's coming up.
It's coming out in 2 weeks.
Yes. So tomorrow there's this chill edit. There's this version of a Wrong Lane, which is called Chill Edit. And then 2 weeks from now, there's another remix of Wrong Lane, which is called Underground Edit. And then after this, there will come more singles. Actually, I've thought about putting out an album, but I decided to drop single by single.
Yeah, we are in a single era.
Sorry?
We are in a single era, you know, people are the streaming.
Yes, yeah.
Singles.
Yeah, actually I love albums more in a way, you know, because you have it's like one piece of art, kind of.
Especially when you do a cohesive project.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta like adapt to the situation, kind of. So I'm dropping single by single, and the next single is scheduled for the beginning of December, but no exact date yet.
Guess what? Whenever anything comes out, you know what to do now.
I know what to do, definitely.
We'll be here. So anything that comes, when you have new material, no problem. Just that's it. Have it forward to us, okay?
Cool. I will definitely. Thank you, man.
And as we get to wrap up, you know, we are waiting for more singles from you. Of course, you know, it's hard to put out an album during this time. Also, you know, because of the pandemic, you can't know when you can do anything, whether you're going to tour or going to travel or do any live shows. Speaking of live shows, you did a good live show that people need to check out. The recording, I think, is on YouTube also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people should go and check out that at the tennis tournament that you did. People should check out that performance.
I think the tennis tournament is actually not on YouTube.
Why did
it's just
on Instagram?
It's on Instagram.
Yes, on Instagram. Yeah, go to Leona Berlin's Instagram, guys. Give them your socials so that they can check you out and know and they're up to date whenever you have new projects out.
Yeah, so my main channel is actually Instagram. I put everything on there as soon as I have info and stuff. And you can find me under just Leona Berlin. Like, yeah, just in one word, Leona Berlin. Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, Berlin is my real name. I didn't call myself Berlin because I'm from Germany, but it's my real name. So I just wanted to make that clear because it seems like so weird in a way, you know, a German girl, German singer who calls herself Berlin.
I want to meet your parents.
No, but it's like, yeah, it's my birth name, Berlin.
I want to meet your parents so they can try to get us to understand why they chose to call you Berlin.
Sorry, now the reception was bad. I didn't hear you.
I was saying that I want to meet your parents so they can explain to us why they chose to call you Berlin.
I mean, their name is Berlin. You know, it's a last name, so I don't know.
No, we need to meet the other generation before them.
Yes, definitely. It's difficult though.
Yeah. So they need to let us know. But it's been great talking to you, and it's fun. So you have to introduce the song. Wrong Lane, Snoop Dogg and Leona Berlin featuring Snoop Dogg. Wrong Lane. That's the song, guys. Go stream it everywhere you get your music from. It's available, and the name is Leona Berlin, Leona, then Berlin. Okay, and you'll get all the music and stream. Also, go and stream our first album that came out a few years ago. Okay, so
definitely.
Right now, you're going to introduce the single, and then you take us out of here.
I introduce the single right now.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, now listen to my new single. It's called Wrong Lane featuring Snoop Dogg. Enjoy.